either way, there's no right or wrong way to do this because Thomas is going to be asking questions and you might get answers to whatever he's asking. So that's kind of how it goes. So you guys are still going to be telling me everything that you're hearing out of it. Just keep in mind you're not going to be hearing as much as those two gentlemen because that one is more accurate. The two of you are going to stay focused on the same set of questions, Eliza's death. So do you remember what the questions were, Thomas? You need me to go over them again? He needs me to go over them again. I figured he did. You're going to ask her about how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So notice that none of these questions so far have been yes/no answers. So kind of keep that in mind. Christy, your devices are going to work in tandem. Keep in mind that you're doing the job of two people when I have my polar groups. So normally I separate this among two people. Your device, the little Ouija board device with the letters, you're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials in order, ELP. The L is what you're going to be looking for. That is Eliza's maiden name. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the Eliza I just told you about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife died 5 months later. He married the one with the indigo. So again, you're going to figure out what the L stands for. So that way we know which Eliza we're actually dealing with. But hopefully your devices actually work in tandem, like back and forth with each other. So that's going to be hopefully the account there. Anything I need to know about your dear devices since we've been here before we all separate and keep?
I have dad on here and you're just talking about her father.
I don't know that the word dad would be a term from colonial days, especially coming from an English woman born in 1722. So just kind of have to put things in perspective. I see where you're going. I like it. But as an English person, I have to say no.
What would you say with that?
Probably father. She may even say the word padre, because she was born in Antigua, so she did know Spanish. So again, it could be either or.
It's like super specific.
I'm usually super specific before I'm going to put a label of like, hey, this is paranormal. Like I'm that guy. So I will debunk a lot of things tonight, just so you guys know. Yeah. Yep, fireworks. All right, so I'm going to keep Christy behind so I can show her how to use that Ouija board device a little bit further. But everybody else, let's spread out. Stay away from the vehicles. Did you figure out how to get started? Yes.
He got the button for me.
I figured as much. And that is a very loud car.
You want me to keep it running?
Oh yeah, keep it running the whole time
okay.
we're here.
All right.
Good numbers out of you already. Blake came over and told me what was up.
Right there.
Did you get Blake over here to do another reading?
No.
We need to do a reading over here. What do you guys got going on?
I got nothing.
Nothing? All status so far?
It's right here.
Captain here and there, music.
Wait, where?
Seven,
I
eight.
don't know where it is. Right
I
here.
have
Is where we get them.
I don't know if it's from the radio or it's not.
And remember, you want the radio to come. It's slowed down on purpose. So that way, if you hear something coming out of the radio, it might say, hey Miranda. Like, that's what we're looking for. Like, why would we hear her name while we're here? Who would you bring with you? But you haven't heard anything else. You see where I'm going? Like, it's not coincidence to me.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so what? Just slow down the wave?
Exactly, to be able to use that word to be able to communicate back. So they might not be strong enough to be able to use their own voice through the white noise, so they're going to use the radio chatter to communicate with us. So when we have this many radios going like this, because the other twos are like non-stop, so they're hearing all kinds of things, like you're getting very sporadic. So again, it's attempting to stifle some of that noise down so we only get voices. So the point is, why we keep the number 22 up. See where I'm going? Like, but I also want a verification. I know why the number 22 just showed up here, but I want somebody else to hear why, for it to show up on the word list, and so forth and so on. I know it's a hard concept to grab if you watch the TV shows, because all they do is go and they wait for a little voice to come through. That's still radio chatter that they're getting. It's not always a disembodied voice. So, yeah, definitely listen in. And I was
So, what kind of question do you like?
for you, it's where's the mansion? What happened to it?
Mansion?
Yeah, the house. Like, where's the house? It's obviously not here. And then if you get what happened to it, you often get the date of when that tragedy occurred. So, again, very specific numbers. It's not like, we're second and third. It's specific numbers. Yeah, and that was not easy. Not easy at all. June 7th, right? Like, see where I'm going? Like, it could be a date. Yeah. That's why you guys keep me around. That's what I do for a living. Think. Gotta make sure we put all the clues together properly.
Now, Pinckney was the one that basically wrote the Constitution, right?
A good portion of it.
A good portion of it.
Yeah.
Now, what was his relationship to Eliza, that Pinckney?
That would have been his nephew.
Okay, I got
Her
you.
nephew.
Okay, I got you.
Because he's also the one that introduced the Pinckney's promise to the Constitution. It was an amendment. I don't believe it got passed.
It keeps on going to red.
You keep getting a lot of reds on yours?
On
Is
the
it-
sewer.
On the sewer. So have you gotten it anywhere else? Any
No,
like
not
yellows or
really.
anything?
No, not really. But like the sewer.
Okay.
Going a little bit.
Fine, Miranda. Where do we lose her at?
When it went on the sewer.
Straight ahead.
There she is.
I've been now a couple weeks here on just a walk. Why did you hear? Not so soon. But I stuck my hand through a fence because there was a cat. And mind you, it was hot as could be outside. It was ice cold, guys. A lot of stories going on. That's not a lot. This is cool too, right?
Whew.
But it just is like
1914 Connecticut at the end of the first.
Connecticut.
1914.
She's good. Oh my God.
Like, you said 143. So she's over in Vancouver, and it's
their coach played for the Astros. He got hurt for fifth place.
Like if you shining on a star, you can shine it on a star, and then pull up to me, and that star has been here long, it's been here blue, because it's cooled off.
Right there.
Well, I mean, I was just kind of scamming around, you know, and I was you red and blue.
Exactly. 27.8. All right. Tom, you got anything else?
I heard water when you mentioned water.
Really?
They're listening to you.
Yeah, we're actually going to kind of call it on this.
When was it mentioned or not?
You are in the holy city. You're going to get a lot of
And the old church right there.
What's your first instinct? To the enemy or with the enemy? That's the kind of stuff. Why would you think that's Alright, everybody, let's kind of go back to where we were. Charles.
I guess that's because your name is their husband.
All right, move out the way, because that truck's going to be coming through.
Is there any way you can change it?
Y'all probably want to move. That vehicle's going to try to get out right here.
Oh. Even though you fought to get that one?
What do you want instead?
I think that one is perfect for you.
Yeah.
Is it AGY or AJY? Again, we're here with the AJY would make sense to me. Cameras, you want to go ahead and give your hands a break? By all means, hit those stop buttons. And we're going to cover all of these answers over this location. I'll tell you where I'm saying that. I know, we just now got the footage from that Tommy.
I swore he told me a while ago, he said we would have started stopping. He said,
Alright guys, so what have we heard? What have we seen? What have we got going on? We're going to have your finger on there because your hand's right in front of the camera. There we go. Jake, Thomas, what did we get out of yours?
I heard go.
Okay. Anything else specific? No? Jake? Got nothing along the way here? Okay. She kind of told me the heads up on the word list of what's going on there. So, any words being called out for us? Alright, so you all see that we're looking for 8 or more while we're in here. And we do have lamp posts and through here. So guys, this is a really common stop for all ghost tours. I'm not surprised that we actually have a couple of other ones in here. So we all tell the same story, and I was actually going to take this out of my route just because it is such a common thing to hear when you're here in Charleston. But this ghost likes to follow me around. That's why we do the bleed over into the next location, and then he shows up again sometimes at our very last stop. So I'll kind of explain those things in the event of stop. Okay. Again, I want more. So with that said, I'm going to go over the same story that they're going over. I'm going to give you a few extra details, and then we're going to head out the same way we came in because I've actually been kicked out of here before. I will actually talk about that because that's actually the fun part of the story. So we'll kind of go through that. So here's how this goes. The doctor moves, well, this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal at the time, and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of those hiding spots. So, with that said, a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the two gentlemen with the red spirit boxes hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. So, yeah, we can get you on mute over here so that way I won't lose focus. And the other piece of that is on your end, Christy, Rhode Island has the initials of RI. We get it here. It's going to make more sense when I kind of keep continuing on with the story. But at any rate, so Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. When we do have a group coming through, gentlemen, you just lower your cameras and kind of let them pass through. So Amanda actually has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this inheritance that she just got, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So we'll wait for this group to pass through and we'll continue on.
Like on an apartment.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So you're perfectly fine. Come on through.
Yeah, not just
By the way, whenever other tour groups go by us, you're the weirdos. You have all the blinky light devices. Again, just, I'm sorry, I should have kind of warned you guys on all the stares that come out of all the other tour groups. Yeah, I hear that all the time. So, what you got now?
That's crazy, because me and him were just talking about trucks on the way here.
I'd want more, like who did you bring with you kind of mentality to be able to talk about, those trucks. We're going to let this group pass through and then we'll finish off. And then we'll have the whole alley to ourselves, it looks like.
Right.
Right. I heard something worth saving.
Something worth saving. I actually like that one. I'll write that one down. I don't know what it means yet. So, back to Dr. Ladd. He comes down here to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. On his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver today, to kind of put it into today's perspective. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. And that somebody walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Christy's Ouija board device. See, this is exactly why I bought that here, because I was getting the letters RI from regular spirit boxes, and I wanted to verify it. We have gotten it about half a dozen times so far in the past year that I've had it, whenever I brought up Ralph's name. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Doc, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. It's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down. That way they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is part of the reason why I hate this story, is because every haunted city has a cliched whistling ghost. So just everywhere you're going to go has one of these ghosts. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Let's get into why they actually fought. Dr. Ladd and Ralph actually used to go see plays together. They couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor made more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. You got better seats. So one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I've said earlier. He goes to the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Pretty dumb and stupid that someone's going to die over an actress that they don't even know personally. Anyway, the two gentlemen came down here, back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned. The doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots his one bullet. He did not want to shoot his friend. He just needed the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel, by the way. So Ralph has his one bullet still in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off and he's not willing to forgive. Doc fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. That's why I usually say, let's get those cameras running when we're down here. But it's not to say that on, where are we at, Jake? Oh, Jake and Thomas's device, that we haven't gotten the whistling part of a song and the word doctor immediately on a commercial. Doctor, it happens all the time. So just kind of keep that in mind when I'm going through your data. I'm not searching for it, but it does occur quite often. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and turn on your voice recorders from your phone and you walk all the way through here without me, of course, on a night that obviously we're not ghost hunting together, just keep in mind that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street all throw a whistle down the alley, me included, and especially since I've been thrown out of here. Are you guys ready for the fun part of this story? So, with that, and again, if you will find whistles, because all the other tours that walk by here, we all whistle. The wall, there used to be a wall up here. The reason why is because it was like halfway between us and Cumberland Street. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So a bunch of cows, chickens, and goats down here. They weren't fried just yet, Tom. But again, we'll get to some fried chicken later. But at any rate, so the Cow Alley is different because those bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. We all need to see how far we've come from paranormal about it. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries? That's the last place you're going to find the child that made that handprint. He's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group of 10, about the same size as you guys, and I'm trying to give them their history lesson. Right, we're just going to pass by it. And they all stop, and they wait for something to happen with the gear that I handed out that night. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen paranormally. Secondly, we're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So, the new owner of that mansion, he came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at. She was on the tour that night. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I don't work holidays, mainly Thanksgiving because I used to work for Walmart, upper management. You guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You guys have scarred me for life. Give me 1 second, I'm almost done. So, the next day, I called my partner and I told him what happened with the mansion at the end of the alley, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, "You're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. That's the cutoff point. That's the way it's supposed to go. You got to reroute your group because the rest of my tour was over there. That's why we use the alley." So I told my team that night, because I'm sold out again for Black Friday, I don't believe in the next story because I get into vampires, not pirates. We're obviously talking about pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be talking about. If I tell you we're going to talk about pirates in Charleston, you automatically think of a male. We're going to be discussing the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, all right, maybe we'll get something. We go up and around the corner. I didn't know much about pirates, so I told them what I did know. Somebody else heard the number 300. I wrote it down because I didn't know what it meant, just like the 607 that we had from Jake earlier. So the 300, turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. I was actually pissed. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Anything I do, especially with this, has to be factual data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard, which is what we all know about piracy, right? That means I have to read more books on pirates, which wasn't a subject that I was too keen on when I first started getting into this whole Anne Bonny tale of trying to find paranormal activity around her. I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to debunk all of the things that you guys find out on these investigations with me. So I will tell you that everything that we're about to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. That was kind of the rule of thumb. It had to be a common thing among at least 2 resources. And then it is a roll of the dice if Anne will be there. I'll explain, but that's why I also like to bleed over from Dr. Ladd, because I know he's always around. So that's kind of how this goes. Did anybody hear or see anything? I know Zoe's been eager to tell me something. What do you got?
There's a lot of words been going out. I saw C's, 10, and I don't remember like most of them, but I know I saw C's and 10.
Okay, C's in which way? Do you remember how it was spelled?
Really,
Can I see it?
No, not really.
Anybody else see anything weird? So that's too far. And C's, like C's, like almost like a seizure.
Oh my god.
Just so you guys have an idea of what was spelled out. Anything else that was heard out of the 2 of you? Nothing? No words being spelled out for us? Alright, so we're going to go up and around the corner. For those of you with cameras, if you want to keep them rolling, you can. It's completely up to you, or you can keep your hands, give them a break. I mean, you actually had it nice and easy. Like, that's a first one. Cameras again, let's go ahead and get this thing going if you don't already have them. So let's kind of be pretty quick with this piece of history because there's a lot here, so I'll breeze right through it as quickly as I can and slow down on some of the twists, only because the twist can be the twist. We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate here. And that powder magazine is actually kind of what we're looking at. So the little tiny building up there with the crosses on it, those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are, because you're not from here and you didn't take any of the tours of town yet, they're basically turnbuckles. And if you tighten them up, it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring them up is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why, that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. No, it kind of works like a gear. Yeah, exactly. So, but notice the big crosses that are on there. Again, oldest government building. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. So this is something familiar to her. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you may have seen the Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear that has the blinky light device. Actually, Christy has it now. They put one of those in there, so if a child gets near it, it'll actually go off and say, "Ooh, that tickles," and it's a super creepy voice. You know, it makes the whole thing creepy, right? I want you to think of that concept of like the child would recognize it as a toy with this building with Anne Bonny. It's something from her era. We don't have many things here from her era as far as buildings go. So, sorry, Thomas has already heard this. He's probably bored of me. So, with that said, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government small building? 10 years? No, I'll answer for you. Perfectly fine. The history begins right in the middle of its construction, 1708. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far? The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked him out of the country, by the way? There's no airplanes. It's 1708. It's by boat. That's a long trek to get away from an angry wife. You have Viva?
I got injured.
So, they landed in Georgetown when they came over here. Dad bought a plantation up there, but Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second. I'd like to give you her mentality. When Anne was a little girl, when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore that nothing is ever going to be exact with pirates. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So that kind of gives you the mentality of this young lady as we kind of move through her history.
So, Anne from Ireland is a pirate?
Not yet. We're working on it. So, 1713, the building's done. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is excited because she's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these days. So the first guy she fell in love with, and I say first that way, slowly, because there's a good handful. We're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn interesting. So the first guy was James Bonny. You already know where this one's going because I've told you her full pirate name already. And Dad didn't approve of this guy because he's a filthy pirate. So they ran away to Jamaica and got married. And that's basically where she got her pirate name from. Now, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This guy is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case any of you were wondering.
Rackham.
What's that?
Rackham?
Mm-hmm.
The red? Rackham the red?
No.
Pirate?
Yeah. You're right on the name. It's Rackham. Like Rackham is the way it's spelled. So, kind of.
I got older, common memory.
Okay.
And
Nothing yet. So we'll see when they start to pop up. Now Jack has his own crew and he has his own ship and wants to be part of that pirate crew, but you can't have a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So she gets it. It is a man's world. But most of us are adults here. Let's put two and two together. She is a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. And somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So Jack, and you got to give me a few minutes on this one. So Jack, before she starts to show her pregnancy, drops her off in Cuba. And he says, go have the baby over here. These are friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happens to the child, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. So to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, to become part of the crew the Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females just like male pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Anne and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not really sure because of the time frame, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to take down one measly pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of Navy ships with cannons. They get arrested. As they're getting arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up a lot in communication devices. Now the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. So he's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front of the judge and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. And the judge could give a damn that they are female. They are still pirates in his eyes. He's still going to hang them. They scream out, we plead our bellies, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count married. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know anything factual about her after her pirate career. What'd you get?
I got joint bend.
Joint and bend. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit and say, make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what I did with the Pinky Mansion site with we have to tiptoe around a prominent English woman. I'm talking about a kick-ass female pirate over here. Here's what I left out. You guys can ask whatever you want to, but I did leave out a few things just so you have something to work with on your spirit boxes. I did not tell you the names of Anne Bonny's parents. I do know what they are, and they are factual. So, I did not tell you the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, the name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Everything else you guys want to ask is fair game. So, kind of keep that in mind. You guys can ask whatever you want. We do have a good handful of cars in here, so let's just stay away from the vehicles. The largest orb I've ever caught in 14 years has been with that camera at this location, just so you have that idea. Tommy, with your camera, it will act up from time to time. It's been a while, probably a good 8 or 9 months, but we will see like the old staticky snow, like an old tube TV that'll come across on your screen, and then whoever you're filming, their device will stop working. I've seen that several times. He's like, I'm going to make his camera stop working. That's the battle of the cameras. Have some fun in this location. Definitely get your spirit box unmuted, and let's see if we can get going out of here. I'll do a few round robins. You said you have the word most? Is that what it was? And Zoe? Okay, I want to see your whole word list. Okay?
There's like stab in the stomach. Oh, I got friendship.
Bring up the whole word list. Number 10, we turn, and we shoot.
Alright, that's weird.
That's what a duel looks like. That's what we were talking about over here. So, the rule is...
I'm watching the game too.
Yeah, well, I told them, I said, I'd rather just sit in the bed, Big John, drinking beer, watching the basketball game. And the boys, it's men's tonight too.
Just girls. 43-39 Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Yeah. Caitlin Clark's only got
South Carolina playing?
they already won.
Okay.
So they're in the finals.
Those girls turned them around. They turned into a pretty decent.
They got a girl that's 6'7".
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
This thing hit on a cool board, dude.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's all.
That's where I'm parked at in there.
Yeah. That's the worst thing about being down here. This weekend, that's the worst. Bet you we spent $50-$75 parking. Well, because them little public ones like that, 'cause them private ones, they'll smoke you, boy.
Not a ghost yet.
They're cool.
because Jacob had a friend named Hayden.
Yeah, we got four in there.
I was wondering who's up there, you know?
Yeah.
This is
Any other place they can stick a little apartment or something around here, they got it. So about every one of these stores got one on top of it.
that device that you have steady flashes on my camera. I mean, yeah, and I look at it sometimes and I don't
Do you see when you did it?
now it's not doing it. There it goes. See, look at that.
Oh yeah.
What?
And if you.
And then I
oh,
look.
Yeah. Wow.
Then
it's
yeah.
It's like
see.
Wow. It's like a board.
Yeah.
It's
But then I look outside the camera and I see nothing. See, it's doing it. Look, it's doing it right there.
Yeah.
That's weird.
There's no ghosts around here.
That's why we call it the legendary around here. So when we get over there, if I don't get the answers out of Jake and Thomas, so the answers both cameras, they're not going to know the history tonight, so try to film it for them so that way they can watch it later. Not over your camera because it's not all super clear because it's not obviously in signatures. Feel free to roam around a little bit. With yours, I definitely want to have you focus on them the entire time so they have a nice clear picture. All right, let's go talk to a host. What did you show you right now?
Greetings.
I was starting to pull away now.
By how much?
They're up to 7.
Next to you. All right, so we're going to start off with explaining the spirit box part. So you are literally going to be telling me everything that you hear, including yes/no answers. When I give you the go-ahead, I'm going to have you guys put your blindfolds on and then your headphones. Turn up your volume to where you can't hear me. I'll ask you a few silly questions to make sure you cannot. Do not touch your spirit box thereafter. I want to make sure neither one of you are cheating and trying to hear the questions that make it look like a ghost is coming through. Don't force it, just let it happen naturally. So again, you're also going to be telling me even yes/no answers because I might be asking the ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting one of you to say yes. Does that make sense? So with yours, you will be seeing images. And have you ever done VR before? Okay, so this is not going to be like the 3D Jurassic Park in your face kind of dinosaur eating your head. So you're going to see a galaxy off in the distance, just kind of floating around, and then a picture will kind of appear in front of it. You're going to describe what that picture is in very simple terms. You got 2 gentlemen that are going to be talking over you that can't hear you. So again, if you see 3 people on a bench next to a tree, say 3 people, bench, tree. In the event that they're not talking much, I will ask you probing questions. What time era is it? What are the gender of the people? What are they wearing? You know, those kind of mentalities. You'll be able to hear me the whole time. In the event that either one of you guys are talking too loud, a family member will tap you on the shoulder. That means quiet down a little bit. I'm trying not to piss off the neighbors. When we're done, they will tap you on the leg. That means take off your own gear. You'll be able to hear me. I'll say peel that thing off your face so that way we can all see the images that you just saw. Now you might get 0 images. You might get 12. I have no idea what's going to happen. So we only keep you guys under for 10 minutes. So blindfolds on, headphones on, find your comfortable spirit, or your comfortable volume. I'm going to take this for just a second so I can set up your VR while they're getting started and I can ask some test questions. Can you imagine how many phones I have? This one was actually my phone 2 weeks ago. And then I got a new one. So I was like, oh great, now I have one for the virtual reality piece.
So we just say what we hear?
Yep, we say everything that you hear. Turn up your volume. I'll ask a few silly questions. Everybody knows it's 11:18. So we'll get started now. Thomas seems like he's good. Jake seems like he's good. What color is a blue banana? What color is a purple monkey? Okay, perfect. Okay, Henry Timrod, I need you to kind of push through and give us something about your occupation while I set up the green box for you to be able to communicate through images. This will be Miranda here in the center. See how you kind of have a galaxy there? So all you're going to do is look straight ahead. Try not to look down. You'll hit virtual buttons. And when you look straight ahead, it will line up with you. Just so you know, it might be off to the side at first, but just keep looking straight ahead. It'll line up. This is your focus in case things are blurry. Henry Timrod, I need you to push through. I know it's Friday night. I know it's going to be loud in here for you tonight. Can you give us anything about your occupation, please?
Eyes right now.
You got eyes?
Yeah.
And are they yours or is it an actual image?
Blue.
No, it's an actual image.
Woman.
And it looks like a little kid to the left of the eyes.
How old?
Child.
How old is the child?
7 or 8.
You said the word child too, by the way.
He has like a bowl cut haircut. Oh, another one.
Yeah, they don't last.
Yellow. Story.
Can you remind him to stop? Like, tell us in real time. Yeah, just lift one up. Okay, Henry, now that we got everything under control,
More.
can you tell us who was in the picture? Whose eyes were we looking at?
Home.
Henry, we're not leaving yet.
Flame.
Henry's code word for us to leave is the word home, just so you guys know. And
Together.
Alright, he wants us to leave together. Like, get the hell out of here. Henry, give us something about your occupation. We're starting the conversation off pretty late. I'm not going to take that as your code word just yet, but you know the secondary code word?
32.
Nothing on 32, Henry. I don't know what that means. You just said home again. Miranda just swallowed very hard, like, oh my god, he wants us to leave. What's happening? Henry,
Family.
what's the secondary code word if he truly wants to leave?
Go.
What happened?
I see like a guy in a tux
God.
standing on cobblestones.
Okay. Time there?
Kind of looks like today.
Okay. And any facial hair on this gentleman?
No.
That was pretty good, buddy. I don't know who that is. Should artistic.
Mountain.
I would say that your occupation is artistic, but you need to give me something more specific. Alabama. You're not from Alabama. Henry, tell us more about your occupation. One place to go. Where did you go? Are we talking about your final hours? It's a yes no question.
Documents.
Documents. What did he get? Country. Thank you for interpreting. He's speaking really low. Henry, what about the last document? What can you tell us about that last document that you put together?
Place.
Henry, what's so special about the last document that you wrote? You got anything going on there? Henry, specific answers here, please. You can give it to us in an image.
Me.
We'll take that answer in an image. What's so special about your last document?
White.
Henry Timrod, is somebody else here with you tonight? Henry? I really need you to push through. You're having a problem. That's some kind of sports team for us here, isn't it? Stingrays?
Yes, hockey.
Okay. Henry?
Try.
We're trying to make any type of communication at all at this point. I don't have anything. I'm asking about your last document. What's so special about it?
Trying.
Henry, what is special about your last document? I'm gonna stay focused on this question because it's easy for you.
Death.
You can give us an image of it. Or you can say the nickname that we have for your last document, and I'll take that as an answer.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Moving.
Not here. They may have in Italy, but not here.
New York.
New York pizza? That sounds good, doesn't it? What's the secondary code word for us to leave if you'd like us to go home? I'm still going to ask you about your last document. We want proof that you're here. Right now I have none. Miranda's getting bored looking in the galaxy. What do you get? Bracelet. No, we'll wait. I like to keep them focused underneath the whole session. And we're running out of time. We're down to 3 minutes. Health.
You see someone sitting with an orange shirt, a man?
I'm more interested in TV.
You said boat, and she said she saw somebody sitting with an orange shirt.
Orange shirt.
It's a man.
Country.
Love.
It's like today.
Come back.
He's also bald.
Who's all these bald guys? Henry, I don't know who any of these people are that you're trying to show us. I'm simply asking about your work. What's the last document that you wrote? Home. Keep saying the word home.
Name.
Henry?
I got 7 spirit.
Henry, did somebody else come with you tonight?
Thank you.
So, say their first name. We're running out of time. We're down to 1 minute.
You. Mitch.
Henry, throw us one more image and we'll wrap it up. Show us an image of your last document. What did it look like?
Car. Home.
Awkward. Awkward because he keeps saying the word home, which is kind of like the get out. Down. Okay.